I can talk now to Andrew Boyd from Release International. It's a human rights group which supports persecuted Christians around the world. And last week, the group was warning that an attack in Pakistan was likely over Easter. Andrew, thanks for joining us today. Why did you warn last week of a likely Easter attack?
Well, we'd had concerns raised to us by Christian leaders in Pakistan that an attack was likely, that an attack could well be imminent. Obviously, we hoped and we prayed that that wouldn't happen, and Release International is as horrified as everybody else is at this deliberate targeting of women and children in a park celebrating Easter simply because they're Christians. We're very sorry that this warning actually turned out to be true.
We're seeing a very heartening reaction to what happened, to the terrible events by the community in Lahore. But nonetheless, what do you think this is going to do to Christians in Pakistan? Are they going to feel ever more vulnerable?
Christians in Pakistan are increasingly vulnerable, and the attacks against the Christian minority there, less than 2% of the population, those attacks have been growing over the years. And often a touchstone for those attacks has been the accusation of blasphemy. Pakistan has blasphemy laws which are regarded generally as being completely notorious. They're used to take out rivals. The merest accusation of blasphemy is enough to destroy your life. So what happens is people are accused of making a blasphemy against the Prophet Muhammad or desecrating the Quran, and then the courts are packed out by extremists who are calling for the death penalty. Local judges are intimidated. People are found guilty. It then goes up to a major court, often. The court then looks at the facts and overturns that conviction. But nevertheless, vigilantes and extremists will take the law into their own hands and attempt to assassinate people who've been accused of blasphemy. So what we're seeing in Pakistan here with this latest appalling attack is an extension of the kind of division that extremists are seeking to impose between the Muslim and Christian communities in that nation.
I understand there's a particularly high-profile blasphemy case in Pakistan at the moment, that of Asia Bibi. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, that is especially high-profile, and it's actually linked potentially with the attack that's happened in Lahore. So Asia Bibi was a farm labourer working with other farm labourers who were Muslims. She was a Christian. They would often get into heated conversations. And on one particular occasion, she brought them some water. They said, "We can't drink this. You're a Christian. You're unclean. We can't drink that water." And it got heated. An accusation of blasphemy went out. Asia was then accused of blasphemy and found guilty of that and has been on death row since 2010. The appeals are taking a very long time. Her family has had to go into hiding. There have been death threats made against her, rewards put out for her death. And in this particular case, politicians in Pakistan who have pressed for the repeal of the blasphemy law have been assassinated. A leading politician, Salman Taseer, who was the governor of the Punjab, was assassinated by his own bodyguard, who was treated as a hero. Now, only recently that case had gone through the courts. He was found guilty, he was hanged, but up to 150,000 people turned out scattering rose petals on his coffin and treating this man as a hero. And it's in that context of this increasing division that we're seeing happening in Pakistan that this warning went out that attacks were likely over the Easter weekend.
And just, sorry, Andrew, to interrupt briefly, if you would, given that context that you're describing to us, the very difficult situation, do you hold out any hope of any change in the climate, the feeling towards Christians and other religious minority groups anytime soon?
The first thing that has to happen is these blasphemy laws must be repealed. Everybody is calling for that. In the name of humanity, this actually has to happen because they are being used. They are playing directly into the hands of the extremists and the terrorists who simply want to create chaos and division so that they can impose their own notion of order. The first thing that has to happen, Release has been calling for it for a long time, these laws must be repealed.
Andrew, thank you very much. Andrew Boyd from Release International.